Get ready. If you think the full moon already came and went, you're in for a rude surprise, because you have no idea what's actually about to unfold. The full moon may have peaked on the 3rd, but the truth is, the real shift didn't happen at the high point. It started after. And this wasn't just any full moon. This was the first full moon of the year, and trust me, those leave a signature. The first full moon cracks something open in the collective field. And now, on January 7th and 8th, we move into the part nobody really talks about, the aftershock. Most people don't realize moons like this have a delayed impact. The world keeps moving on, but something stays humming beneath the surface. And the people who are energy sensitive feel it first. So, how have you been handling it? If you're more intuitive or emotionally tuned in, you might be experiencing intense post-shift symptoms. If you feel comfortable, drop a comment, because you may realize you're not as alone as you've been feeling. And if you've had a sudden urge to pull back from people, even when nothing is wrong, keep watching. There's a very specific reason that's happening right now, and you need to hear this. But before we go there, something else is happening behind the scenes. You might not see it, but full moon energy can affect the structure of your body in real time. And no, this isn't a vague metaphor. Right now, your system is literally retuning your frequency. So if your reactions have been off, too intense, too slow, delayed, or unusually muted, you're not being weird. You're adapting. Your brain is recalibrating. This is the kind of post-moon space where people quietly wake up to who they really are. Not in some dramatic movie moment, more like subtle realizations, strange detachment, or sudden clarity that hits you in the middle of the most normal, everyday thing. There's an opportunity here that's way bigger than most people realize, and most of the world will miss it. But you didn't. You're here. And if you stay with me, we're going to decode what's really shifting. Those parts nobody talks about, but everybody feels. Because in a moment, I'm going to explain something that happens to people right after a full moon. Something most people don't even realize is connected. The more you force it, the more it slips away. Let's talk about that frustrating mental fog that's been hanging over your day. You sit down to do something, work, errands, even replying to a text, and it's like your brain is underwater. Nothing sticks. You reread the same sentence 5 times and still can't tell what it said. You're not broken, and you're definitely not lazy. What's happening right now isn't about discipline. It's about processing capacity. That first full moon didn't just stir your emotions. It also impacted your ability to focus, think clearly, and move through time the way you normally do. You're trying to function on an operating system that's still recovering from a major internal update. Think of it like this: a wave of lunar energy surfaced deeper layers of your awareness, and now your system is rebuilding in silence. What looks like doing nothing is actually your body processing, reorganizing, and realigning. But in a world obsessed with productivity, this phase can feel like failure. It isn't. Rest isn't regression. This is recalibration. If focusing feels harder today, give yourself permission to loosen your grip. You're not falling behind. You're in a transition between who you were and who you're becoming. 1 minute you feel unstoppable. The next minute, your mind goes blank. There's a very specific kind of chaos in the air today. You might suddenly get hit with this overwhelming urge to organize everything, deep clean your entire place, launch that idea, or finally deal with the problem you've been avoiding. And it shows up out of nowhere. It feels so real, and then it vanishes. Just emptiness, like someone cut the power to your motivation. This isn't just mood swings. This is a sudden, energetic rebound, and it's real. Right now, your spiritual body is still hovering over the residue of what the full moon pulled out of you, but your mind is already scrambling to fill that space with something new. So what happens? You get this intense burst, a glimpse of your next version, and then the gravity of the old self yanks you back. It's like you're split between two frequencies of you. One foot in liberation, one foot in becoming. You're not unmotivated. You're unstable between identity timelines. If you've been wondering why nothing is sticking, why you start and stop, why today feels like a mental roller coaster, here's your answer. This isn't failure. It's fluctuation. And soon, this energy is going to ask something very specific of you. Remember when I mentioned that sudden urge to pull away from everything and everyone? Here's why it's happening. Some of you woke up today and felt it instantly. A quiet, strange need to disappear. No drama, no explanation, just a soft internal instinct to step back from everything. Even the most social, high-energy people are feeling this right now. This isn't depression. It isn't avoidance. And no, you're not isolating. What you're actually feeling is your energy field demanding space to recover. This is what I call an energetic fast. When your system gets overloaded, like it did with this full moon, your body and your aura naturally start craving silence, distance, and minimal input. This isn't about pushing people away. It's about returning to your own vibration after it's been altered by lunar light. The more intense the activation, the deeper the retreat you need to absorb it. This retreat isn't loneliness, it's digestion. After a spiritual peak, solitude becomes a sacred cocoon, a space where your energy can process, restructure, and come back home to itself, free from everyone else's noise, emotions, and frequency. So if you've been craving silence, your own bed, space from conversations that normally feel good, honor that. Your soul isn't breaking. It's rebuilding your core. The plan didn't collapse. It got rewritten. Since the moment that moon hit its peak, nothing has felt linear. Plans you were counting on got cancelled. Unexpected calls suddenly became urgent. People showing up out of nowhere. Conversations that feel either completely out of place or perfectly timed. That isn't random. That's a reordering. The full moon didn't just shift your inner world. It shifted the entire sequence of how things are unfolding externally. Think of it like the script got paused, rearranged backstage, and then resumed. Only now the scenes are different, and they're playing in a new order. Delays right now aren't punishment. They're protection. They're intentional blocks, set in place to keep you from walking into something that's no longer aligned. And those strange invitations, random messages from people you haven't spoken to in years, the why did that happen, detours, those aren't mistakes. They're indicators. They're clues. Reality is being reconfigured to match your new energetic frequency. And if you ignore the signs, life tends to get louder, because the deeper we go, the more obvious it becomes. Something is surfacing, something that isn't exactly physical, but it's very real. You didn't lose interest in the noise. You stopped needing it to feel alive, and that's why something weird has been happening. The things that used to trigger excitement or urgency suddenly feel boring. Gossip doesn't hit the same. Messy conversations don't hold your attention. Even chasing goals that once felt essential can suddenly feel optional. And it's not because you're tired or apathetic. This is what happens when your energy matures and finally moves beyond survival mode. For months, maybe even years, you've been running on constant alert, riding emotional cycles, bracing for the next conflict, trying to decode patterns that never fully made sense. But this full moon triggered something deeper. It didn't hand you answers. It didn't even bring clarity. It brought silence. And inside that silence, the shift happened. A different kind of inner stillness is settling in now. And because of that, everything around you starts to feel louder. The false urgency, the people who only reach out when something's wrong, the distractions that used to hook you, now they pass right through you like they're no longer programmed into your system. Not because you're cold, because you're no longer identifying with what kept you busy but never made you whole. For a while that can confuse you. You might even wonder if something is wrong because the things you used to care about don't light you up the same way. But that's exactly the point. They held your attention because your energy was scattered. Now that it's coming back into focus, only truth has weight. Your system isn't hunting for a problem to solve anymore. It isn't living on defense. And without that constant tension, there's nothing left to cling to except peace. This is the quiet reset. No fireworks, no big announcement. But later, when you look back, you'll realize this is where everything started to change. And peace isn't passive. It's a decision your nervous system finally made, without you even having to ask. Just don't expect everyone around you to adjust to your new pace, because while you're finding peace, other people are unraveling in real time. And that contrast is going to get sharper. Energy doesn't lie, but people will, when they don't know how to process what they're feeling. Since the full moon passed, it may feel like people are acting different. You've probably noticed it. Conversations feel off. People are reacting in unusual ways, emotionally intense, scattered, or suddenly talking in circles for no obvious reason. Even the ones who are normally grounded can seem distracted or volatile. It starts subtle, and then it becomes impossible to ignore. This moon didn't just move energy inside individuals, it disrupted the collective frequency, and not everyone knows how to adjust when the vibration rises quickly. Some people double down on old behaviors, some shut down in silence, and some suddenly reappear in your life like nothing happened. It's not random. These are energetic responses. People are being stirred, pushed, and recalibrated without understanding why. And here's the part most people miss. A lot of it isn't happening in isolation. They're responding to you because your energy quietly stopped participating in the dynamics you used to feed without realizing it. You're not sending the same emotional signals anymore. Your energetic availability isn't what it used to be. And that creates dissonance. Some people will feel that gap and drift away. Others will feel it and push harder, trying to pull you back into roles you don't fit anymore. And you might feel guilt, confusion, or even doubt. But stay grounded. This isn't personal, it's adjustment. The spiritual truth is, not everyone can evolve at the same speed. Some people resist change, some collapse under it, and some, consciously or unconsciously, look to you as a signal for how to stabilize. The hard part is, you're still stabilizing too. Your growth is changing the entire dynamic. Not because you're trying to change anyone, because you're no longer willing to shrink for them. And just because it's subtle doesn't mean it isn't real. The full moon may be gone from the sky, but it left something behind. Not up there, inside you. You may have thought the shift ended on the 6th, but this is the real side effect. For many people, it shows up physically, not as illness, but as release. Your body is letting go of what your mind couldn't name. A quiet cleansing of old energy, patterns, emotional dust, thirst, restlessness, disrupted sleep, the urge to ground yourself, to be in nature, to unplug. That isn't random, and it isn't regression. It's recalibration. You're not falling apart. You're making room. And once that residue clears, something steps forward. Something that's been waiting until you were empty enough to receive it. If you're still here, thank you for giving me your attention. If this resonated and you want more, go ahead and hit subscribe. It genuinely supports the channel. And if you've been feeling any of this, I'd love to hear from you. Share what you're noticing in the comments. Take care of yourself, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next one.